The thing about working with conductors of orchestras and wind ensembles is that they can almost immediately tell when they are handed a score, and that score is either by a student or a professional. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not necessarily talking about style or genre or even the quality of the music. What I'm talking about is clear formatting of the score. This is one of those things that holds so many composers back. They literally write a great score, they have really great music going on, and then little to no thought is given to how it actually appears on the score or what the conductor will need to effectively make it happen and make it come to life. I say this, and I myself as I'm included in that. Since I have changed my approach to this and I've started implementing these certain principles, I have been selected for so many more performances and so many more competitions. I want to share that with you. I want to share everything I know about score formatting, at least as of today in 2025, that I know, so that you don't have to go through all the things that I went through trying to figure some of these out. Now, many of these come from different teachers that I have had. Some of these are personal preferences, and some of these I have gotten from conversations with different conductors that I have worked with. So that's where this all comes from. So here's how this video is going to work. I'm going to give you a quick TLDR of all of the main points in this particular video, so you can get straight to completing your score. After that, I have a full tutorial where I recorded myself formatting my most recent commission. So you can literally watch me format each score, and I have it with commentary. I tell you why I'm making the decisions that I am doing as I go through it. So if you're someone who likes to go a little slower and kind of really see what's going on here, I will show you how I did every single page of my score. I think that it's helpful. If you need to go fast, however, there's also the TLDR. So I have made timestamps on this video so that you can quickly jump to the different examples if you need them. My name is Dave. I'm a composer and a teacher. I make videos about music, and I help younger composers reach their goals in music. Okay, principle number one, the score has to be done. There's not really a point to doing too much formatting work until all of the score is done. You need all of that content there. That needs to be the first thing that you take care of. Now, that being said, if you need a checklist to make sure that you have covered all of your bases for your large ensemble score, I have linked my How to Make Your Scores Look Professional video. It is my most viewed video by far. I think it will be very helpful to you. I've got that linked there. I've also got the ones for part making linked as well. The score is done. The music, the content, all of that, it's all wrapped up. We're just talking about the formatting. Step two, make sure in your notation software, whether it's MuseScore, Sibelius, or Dorica, or whatever, they're all slightly different, but make sure that you don't have any arbitrary auto breaks on. You want to do this manually. You want to engage with the page and not trust the software to do it for you. It's just going to want to shove everything together, and we don't want that. That's not the thing. Number three, every tempo change deserves a page break. Now, I want to be very clear with that. When I say every tempo change, I'm not talking about like every little accelerando and every little retardando. I mean, like, okay, we were at quarter equals 120, and now we're at quarter equals 88 or whatever. Quarter equals 139. Whatever it is, that deserves to be on the left side of the page. There's just a psychological element to that screams this is a new section. There's a new feeling to this. It's okay. Sometimes you will have places where it is strategically valuable to maybe not have it directly at the top of the page, but most of the time, I think it just looks better. So go through your entire score. Before you do anything else with the formatting, you're going to hit this. Every single tempo change, even if it's already on the page, add a page break. Make sure that works. Principle 4, you will then go through every single page and you'll make sure it has somewhere between 4 to 6 measures in it, right? 6 as a general maximum and 4 is kind of like a safe minimum. That being said, there are going to be times where you will need to do slightly more and slightly less. 7 as kind of a grand maximum and 3 as a grand minimum. Now, the reason I say 7 and not 8 is because if you're going to have 8 on a page, then you can usually do 4, and then it just kind of loops back. So that's usually fine. We're not trying to save a bunch of printing on pages or whatnot. The reason we do this is so that the music has room to breathe. Remember, conductors, as they study your scores, they need space to literally write on the score. Oh, okay, the violas need to sound more like this. Okay, I need to remember that, this bassoon part is connected to the double bass part and blah, blah, blah. They need literal room on the score to write. And so that's something that you want to make sure that it has. But primarily, it's so that all of the accidentals are easily clear. All of the rhythms are clear. Everything is just, there's no questions. There's no, oh, I thought that was a tuplet because it was smushed together when actually it's not. None of that. So this is the part that takes the longest. You're literally going to go through every single part of your score, every single page, 4 to 6 measures each. Sometimes you'll have to backtrack. Sometimes you have to jump around as you do this. Okay, I originally had 6 and 6 here, but then I need to go back and change it because it makes more sense to do 5, 5, and 4 or whatever. You will find that. Again, I've got examples of this coming up later. Step 5. Once again, you are going to check the entire score, check the PDF. Now that you have done it, make a PDF version of it and get outside of your notation software and literally look through it. Go through every single page. Make sure it looks right. Make sure it makes sense. All the things are clear. There should be no questions. There should be no extraneous stuff hanging around. And then that'll be it. Step 6, of course, is to like this video and subscribe. If you got anything helpful out of this, I would really appreciate it. No, in all seriousness, it helps me reach more people, which is very meaningful to me. So if you can like this and you can subscribe, that would be wonderful. I'd appreciate it. And that is essentially how this works. It's very simple. It's pretty straightforward. Most people skip this and they tend to not get selected for competitions and prizes as frequently. So make sure that you do this and make it easier for conductors to engage with your music. Now what we will have is the full session where I will give examples of how I do every single page of my newest commission. And thank you so much for watching. Here we go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna format my score. Now, if you notice, I have all the information here. I haven't done any previous layout markings. You can see that, like, for example, if I zoom in here, this indication, it goes off the page. There's tons of red, I mean, the music is just kind of shoved in here. So currently we have 42 pages of score, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and make a PDF of this just to prove the point, how impactful formatting can be. First things first, you're gonna notice with this is that what's really nice is when the music has enough space to breathe. Right now, I mean, what Sibelius and really any notation program is going to do is going to try and shove as much music into the page as possible, right? And that seems like a smart idea at the beginning, but it's really not super helpful. What's better is if it has room to breathe. So the very first thing that we're going to do, just a good rule of thumb, is I like to make sure that every single tempo marking that I have, one has a double bar. This just indicates to the player and the conductor, hey, this is a new section, pay attention. It just naturally draws the eye up to, oh, this is our tempo marking, something new is going on, I need to look up at the conductor, right? So this is nice. All of these, in my opinion, are going to get a page break if you put this here. Obviously, every single system will do it slightly differently, but that's what you're gonna do. So before we even start formatting anything, we're just gonna make the blanket decision that every single tempo marking, see, this one already has it for some reason, it's already there, but we're gonna go ahead and mark that. Every single one of these tempo markings has a page break. Now, notice I say tempo markings. I don't necessarily mean like retard or accelerando. That's like a little bit of an overkill sort of thing. We'll talk about how to deal with that later, but I don't need that as a fresh page each time. I don't think that that's necessary. But see, it's just kind of a weird thing. Like, we're gonna land here. If I left this way, yeah, we have our molto rit, we have this going on, but it's just kind of weird that we start a new tempo and then this, if we zoom out, is a page turn. So it's just one of those funny things that, like, psychologically, it makes, at least to me, it makes more sense to have it happen on a page break. Whether it happens here or it's over here, there's just something about it being in the left corner of the page that I think makes it clear to whoever's watching it or reading it that this is important, all right? Okay. So we're gonna do all of these. You knock that out really, really fast. And then we're gonna start cutting into it. Okay, so this one already has one, but let's just mark it. Even if it already is there, you want to go ahead and mark it, because as we move stuff around, you're going to find that, oh, okay, this needs to go here, and it'll automatically set it up for you. You always want that there. There may be times that we have a tempo marking on, in the middle of a page or something like that. There may be times where that is important, but I think for the most part, it just looks better. So again, that's kind of a first step. You go through and make sure that every single one will do this. Now, normally I did this for this video so that it's just like you could get a clear example of this. I normally will do, as I'm going along, I will add the page breaks in as I go along. I like to write either, here, sometimes I'll write, like, I know Sibelius has a panorama version, and sometimes I will write using that, but Generally speaking, as I go along, I will have already added these in. I'm just showing you this in case you've never had to deal with score formatting before. This will make a big difference. Okay, that one, all right, and then that's it. Okay, so now that we have that, now what we need to do is we want to try and focus on making sure that the page has room to breathe, right? Okay, oops, I keep clicking on that on accident. So, for example, if you notice this particular page here has 4 measures on it. In my view, that's this is great. This is a good looking page. I don't have any issues with it. This is perfectly fine. What we want to The range that we want to aim for is really kind of in between 4 and 6, generally speaking. Sometimes, maybe, we will go at an absolute maximum of 8, but 6 is kind of the sweet spot. In between 4 and 6, that's really where I prefer. Occasionally, we might do 7. It just kind of depends on the math. Oh yeah, like this for example, current page 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 measures here. And yes, it's legible, but if you notice, it's kind of smushed. There's less space to write something. If you want, one of the things that conductors like is they like the ability to be able to scribble in notes as they look at the scores. They learn things. Oh, okay, I want them to play this a little louder. I want them to think about this particular affectation. You want more room, and just 12 is a little too tight. Sort of screams like, hey, this is a default on MuseScore or Sibelius. So anyway, now if we notice here, we have our tempo. And so in between the beginning and here, we have 4 measures on the first page, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 measures on page 2. For me, this is perfectly fine. I don't have any issues with that. I think that this is a good way to do this. I think it is crystal clear, plenty of room to write, and it's nicely spaced out. I don't have any issues with that whatsoever. Okay, now you will notice here, sometimes for this sort of thing, I do tend to prefer, especially with the percussion, let's see, can I stretch that out? I might be able to do that. Let's see, 5. So if I could do this, if I really want this to not bleed, but I think I'm gonna leave it. I like it is technically more clear if we have 4 and 6, but we could also spread it out and do 5 and 5. So I think that's probably the most equitable way to do that. And I might even, sometimes with the retard, I tend to, one of the things that I've noticed is as I've worked with this, is I tend to, where I actually want the retard to start happening is here, but sometimes it's nice to give the conductor a little bit of wiggle room to start it just a little bit before. So even a measure or 2 ahead is perfectly fine. You'll find, especially to get them to really slow down and really get into the rubato of it, that's helpful. These pages are breathing nicely. Okay, let's go on from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we've got 8 on here, and even still, you can look, and some of these lines, again, you can read technically everything, but it's smushed, and we don't want that. We don't want that to happen. Oftentimes, if there's nothing immediately sticking out, I will just immediately do a 6. I'm going to use a system break rather than a page break. All right, so again, we're just going to follow the same rule of thumb. We're going to count 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Now, there's nothing tempo-wise, there's nothing really happening that, makes this page look awkward, so we're going to go ahead and do a system break. And then, all right, 6 and 6. It's breathing very well now. Okay, same sort of thing here. 1, 2, when's our next tempo change? So our next tempo change is here. So sometimes when you're 2 out, it's good to just count up what you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this has 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that gives us a couple of options here. We have 7 measures and 7 measures. So we could do 6 and 6, but then that leaves us with a page with just 2. So we don't want to just do that, right? So what might be helpful here is to go based on the tempo markings. If you notice here, if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this group of 6 has these 2 measures and then the poco rit, right? So that looks nice. There's nothing wrong with that. If we separate it here, this page is still going to breathe very well. It looks nice, and it's clear where the poco writ starts and ends. Now, what we can do for this to make this breathe is it's a little tight. It's again, it's just, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to go ahead and take this and do a system break. Now, these 4 bars breathe. Got plenty of room to write. And then this it's clear, okay, poco cello rondo for this page, poco writ for this page. Again, you don't always have to cut it. Like, we could have done it slightly differently, but I like this because there's a psychological clarity to it. This whole page is slightly getting faster. This whole page is slightly getting slower. And it's divided by 4. And at the end of the day, if you're doing stuff in 4, that's not a problem. Nice looking. We already have 4 measures there, so we don't need to worry about that. And this one is kind of already done for us. Moving on, agitated. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8. There's no tempo thing to look for, so we're just going to call it and do a 6. Breathes a little bit easier. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same thing here. There's no tempo weirdness to deal with. We're just going to call it as a 6. Now we start having some interesting stuff happen. Okay, so we have this molto writ on this page, and we have this cello rondo that starts here and goes for these measures. All right, now this we might be getting into interesting territory here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So conventional wisdom would say, let's go ahead and cut that and put it here. Now for some reason, these are split up. Now the reason we're going down to 2 here, this is kind of a judgment call that you'll have to make. You have to do what's best. At the end of the day, you want to do what's clear and easy for the conductor. What is the easiest thing to read? So we have 2. The only thing that's weird about it is I don't love doing like 1 or 2 measures per page. Sometimes it is necessary, especially like with these. We've got a lot of like nonettes and all these crazy tuplets that I've got going on here, and we need to be able to see every note that is happening. So that's kind of an important thing. But that being said, we could probably get away with, if we put these together, we can do this thing called keep bars together and see what that looks like. Now that, again, I like this a bit better because really the only thing that's busy is this poor clarinetist that I'm torturing with. Well, it's the same pattern, so I don't feel so bad. But anyway, that's fine. I think that works. Again, following the psychology, these cello rondos are there together with the molto writ. And I think that it's just this one part. It is slightly tight for me. Like if you notice, like beat 1 and then beat 2 is this huge long thing. But that said, I think the greater thing is having it all together in terms of the tempo. I think that's just slightly better. Okay, so this is kind of an interesting thing. This is kind of a situation where we have 6 here for this tempo and 7 here. So we have a total of 13 measures. So we could, in theory, we could spread it out, right? We're looking at 13, so we could do 4, 4, 5, which would be perfectly fine, which would kind of fit what we've already done here. So I might let's go ahead and see if that works. Let's do 4. And then 5. They put the 5 here. I think this might even look better. 4, 4, and then 5. So that 3, 4. Yeah, I love the 3, 4 matching. Each page starting with the 3, 4. There's not really a logic to that. I just think that really works. Now this, you can already start to see, it's a little cramped. For a busy texture like this, where there's a lot of stuff going on, I think actually, let's go down to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, let's do 5. Let's do 5. 5 is fine. Again, anything between 4 and 6, I think is, as your regular, is fine. There's obviously special cases that will come up. Okay, so now this is an interesting case. This, for some reason, goes to 2, and I don't know why. This is why, because I have a couple of quintuplets, or dectuplets, I guess that's what's going on here, in this very fast texture. So, a couple things that we can do with this. Just to show you how messed up this can get. This might be a case where, okay, we might have this divided this way and this is fine. If I put these together, if you notice, this starts to get kind of, accidental is like on the note. You know, this is really kind of gross. So in this sort of case, it'd be nice because these beats aren't any bigger. They just have a, you know, a quintuplet, a double quintuplet, or dectet, whatever you want to call it, going on in there. I don't think that that is the right play. So I think having this here and having this as a 2 is fine. It's a clear pattern. It's a bit of a quick page turn, but that is fine with me. I don't have any real issues with that. I think that that's okay. So what this means though is that this page is kind of funny looking, right? Because we only have 2 and there's not really a need for just 2 here. So I'm going to leave this the same here and we're going to backtrack for a second. So we have, you know, we have 5 here and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So let's see what it looks like if we, let's keep these guys together, keep these bars together. The 3 looks a little more natural. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, same thing. We're just gonna go ahead and chop it. System break, a little bit more breathing room. Obviously, after you do all these, you do want to go back through and make sure you look at each page. But right now, we're not worried about that. Okay. This is one of those funny things. I think this should probably go together. I think this will be just, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So we have 6 bars here, 4 bars here, probably do a 5 and a 5. And then, yeah, this multo writ is still clear. Again, it's just 3, but that's fine because we have a lot of busy tuplets and whatnot going on. Now, this is where we're going to start having like some serious like page making going on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, we're good. Could even consider doing 8 here, but I just like the breathing room. I just like the breathing room. And a lot of conductor, it's fine if there's extra page turn. You can, by the way, I should have mentioned this, you could do auto breaks, but I just like doing it and individually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. System break. Now, again, this is the same sort of issue that we ran into before. You know, if like something like if we did the auto break, Sibelius would totally do, just to show you kind of the mess that it would create, keep these bars together. Look at that. This is horrible. Just rough. Look at these F sharps. It's terrible. Okay. In this case, yes, we cut it. We go down to 3 bars. That's fine. The texture is still contained. And then we go right back. 10. Okay, so with this one, because we have urgent coming up here, normally we would do 6, but because we can see that that's where it's going to go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we will do it on 5. System break there. That way it's nice and even. Plenty of room to breathe, and then we land strongly on urgent, and that'll be nice. That'll work as a good page turn. This one poses a slight problem for us. So we have 6 here. We have a total of 9. A total of 9 that we have cooking here before sudden light. So we want to make sure that that's even. Because this is slightly a bigger texture, I'm going to go ahead and move this here. Okay, now this is kind of an interesting one. 6 would be here, but if you notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if you notice, technically the phrase goes with 7, right? And there's kind of a big texture change. If you notice, it's very, you know, it's very string dominant for a second, and then it becomes this huge brass crescendo. That's all we're going to hear. And then I have the strings come in quietly so we don't hear their attack, which is kind of fun. That's like one of my favorite parts of the piece. I think that works slightly better. It looks a little awkward if we do, okay, let's do this back. If we go with our arbitrary 6, it's just kind of weird. So this is one of those cases where I would say actually go with the slightly longer thing. I hardly ever do, like I'll do like 6, you know, normally, at 7, maybe 8 if really needed, but usually if it get to 8, then you can just do a 4 and a 4. So, you know, 7 is kind of the max. So I think in this case, 7 is totally okay. We get the string melody, we get the brass crescendo, and then boom, we are into the new page. We see that they cut off there, and I think that that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's do it here. Hello. Oh. This is one of those funny things. If you notice, for some reason, this bar is like slightly smaller than the others. I do try and avoid things like that where possible. So this might mean that this needs to become a 4. Even then, it's still kind of tiny. I don't know. I don't love it. Again, I don't want it to be like, right now it's just so small. What to do? What to do? If we do 5. Not the end of the world. I probably would do this, actually. I originally had it at 4, but now that I'm keeping this phrase together so we can see the full, piano flute dialogue here, I think that that's slightly better. This is slightly tiny and small, not the end of the world. We do try and avoid things like that, but sometimes, you can't help it. Like this right here, this is a little too small. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we'll call that a 6. And go from there. That's where the trumpet comes in. We're not really interrupting a phrase there. That's nice. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This works well. This already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's already a 5-er. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so for some reason I already did it. Okay, nice. And that's solid. That's solid. We could maybe go farther here, but all the crazy business is all happening on the same page. I think that works. I think that's fine. Rit and then molto rel. Okay, static 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's nothing weird happening down here, so we're fine. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so we'll just do 2 5-ers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. System break. So we got 6 there, 5, and 5. Or we could do, actually, the way that this is going, maybe what might be better, actually, already 6. So what I might do instead is, though these last 6 measures work really well together, so what we're going to do is we're going to work backwards on this one. So 6 by itself, and then we will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do the 5-ers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That's nice. That gives this is a little busier, it gives a little more room to breathe here. And then all of the like Super Ball mallet nonsense is going to happen all together. All right, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do a 6-er. System break. All right, fine. Is there anything weird there? No, that's fine. That's the end of that phrase, so that works for me. That's nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7. Oh, ideal thing. Okay. And then we have our climax here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's a couple ways that we can handle this. This is a 7. This is a 6. This is also a 6. I'm probably going to leave it. This is a slow texture. There's not a lot that's going on. There's plenty of room to write. It's not very busy, so this will be another case where we're going to do a 7, and we're just going to leave it. I think that's just fine. And then this is my Mahler 6 moment, which is very fun. We love a good Mahler 6 moment. It's 4. It's pushing it, but that's fine. All right, then we have another 4. It makes me wonder, though. I think I'm going to do 3 there. Yeah, you know what? A small thing. I usually don't do 3s, but this is such a big, like, huge and scary page. I think that will work. And then we have the build up here. And then when we have the crazy, this is a big dramatic shift for the conductor where all the winds are the, and the piano clusters are going on and the dina, dina, dina. It's just a big shift. I think having that on the page will be very, very good and very nice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 for no reason, like at all. So we don't need that. So we've got a 7. What do? We do a 3 and then a 4. Let's try that. It's a little, we're making this kind of high impact. 3 measures, 3 measures, 4 measures, I guess. Yes, and then we're back to normal. That's fine. Again, sometimes you have to just make that decision. I usually like it between 4 and 6, but I think that just works better. It's more clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, let's do that because these little measures should go together. Ideally, the little violin melody, dum dum dee da da dee. Yeah, that's all fine. Again, this is clear. I like that it lands strongly on the page. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a sixer. That's fine. That looks good. Again, there's not a lot of stuff happening, so it's okay. Yet again. And then we have a 4, and then we have a 4. So that's kind of how this works, this formatting the page. I mean, again, this is a long process, but I like this just so much better. Yes, this version has 60 pages to it, but it's just so much better. It's just so much easier to read and breathe, and you can actually like explore each page. I think that this sort of thing makes such a huge difference for conductors. They really like it when they have plenty of room and everything stays the same. Now, to prove a point here, one of the things that people will talk about is, oh, I want to make sure that, like, you know, I can hide staves and things like that. The reason we don't like to do that, I've mentioned this in other videos before, but I'm just going to show you really quick just what happens. Okay, let's take this, and just for, actually, before I do that, let me save. Famous last words. Okay, so for example, we're going to do hide staves. Okay, so if I click hide, like, okay, we start having like pages like this, where, okay, like randomly stuff is gone. So you have to like spread it out, and it just looks kind of funky. And, you know, it gets kind of weird when you expect certain instruments. Like, for example, like the conductor's not expecting the horn like at the top of the page. That's super weird. So yes, could we like finagle it to where, all right, I saved an extra page. It doesn't really get you anything. I just don't think that is like the effective way to do that. Let's go back here. Yes, thank you. Okay, so everything stays in the same place. Now that being said, there will be times, this score is probably not a good example for me to show you this. There will be times where strategically you will need to hide certain staves for like big impact moments where you have a lot of instruments playing together. This is for single winds, single brass, and then like string orchestra. So it's not really like a huge ensemble, but we'll do a video sometime where I can show you how that works. But as you go through with your measure numbers, I always put them at the bottom. You can put them wherever you choose. I think that that's the best place though. Make sure that like they're not messing up the bass part. Like if you notice here, I'll zoom in. Here I have moved it. So like under the bass, it's just like the integrity of the bass line is kept. And here it's not. Like for some reason the piano is like crazy down here. So we just select these and we move them down. Okay, totally fine. If you start doing this for your scores, conductors will start paying attention to you because you're showing them that that you're giving them the room for them to do their work, to really think through right on the page and see what's happening, and that you're caring about like how the proportion goes. You also psychologically will be handing them and showing them ways that you are shaping your phrases. This is just a really, really important thing that a lot of people skip. Like I didn't know about this until a couple years ago. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. It's connected to, you know, making your score look good. So anyway, if there are any questions, put them in the comments, and if I can, I'll make a video about that. I'll do my best to answer them. But thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the future. Cheers. Bye.